Young and the Restless next week. Phyllis in agony, Sharon panics and a surprise proposal. Young and the Restless spoilers start with a marriage proposal out of the blue. Claire Grace Newman, Haley Aaron, chatting with a hot guy she does not know behind Kyle Abbott's, Michael Mealer, back, and Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, in a possibly dire medical crisis while she is held hostage as Sharon Newman, Sharon case, worries. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and we're going to get into all this good stuff for the week of March 10th in advance of our weekly Y&R spoilers video that comes out every Saturday. Please click subscribe if you're not following us. Let's start with Claire and the hot guy that she does not know. This is a really wild one and just kind of out of nowhere. So, Kyle is supposed to be meeting Claire for a date night at the GCAC. His mom, Diane Jenkins, Susan Walters, offered to babysit Harrison Locke, Redding Munsell. And she and Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, are excited about that. They want Kyle to go enjoy some quality time alone with his girlfriend, Claire, and he jumped at the chance when they offered to watch the kid. However, Summer Newman, Allison Lanier, overheard him on the phone making those date plans. And I suspect that she may try really hard to intervene and keep Kyle from where he's supposed to be. Jack told Diane on Friday's episode that he suspects Summer might be plotting to get back with Kyle. And if you remember, Claire told her grandmother that, and Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, didn't seem to believe her. So next week, we've got Claire alone at the GCAC, all dressed up, looking gorgeous in a red dress, all really looking good, and she's clearly waiting on her date Kyle to arrive. And she's decided to try a martini and makes a little joke to herself about how it's a strong drink. And she's not like James Bond, and of course, it's the British spy drink of choice, shaken, not stirred, and all that. Y&R. Damien defied? But lo and behold, guess who approaches Claire? It's Holden Novak, Nathan Owens. And that just seems out of left field, right? He was just flirting with Audra Charles, Zuleika Silver. And then a very aggravated Damien Kane, Jermaine Rivers, ordered him to get on a plane, get back to LA, and take care of business. But Holden said he was on a later flight, and the GCAC bar is definitely not an airplane. So, is he defying Damien's orders? We'll see. Young and the Restless. What is Holden up to? I just have to wonder. Is Holden flirting with Claire because she's pretty and alone, or is there more to it? Because he approaches her. And the flirt game is on strong. There's no reason for Holden to know Claire or anything about her unless they just turned her up from general, research on the town because she grew up under Jordan's thumb, pretty much isolated from everybody. So, no reason to know him or, either way for them to have any idea who each other are. So, this may be just some opportunistic flirting. But it really has me wondering, where is Kyle? And did Summer delay him to annoy Claire or to try and make her jealous? Will she be sure and say, sorry he was late, be your date, he was with me, typical Summer behavior. Phyllis's medical emergency. A potential escape from captivity? Alright, now let's talk about Phyllis. She and Sharon are still held up in the Havenhurst Psychiatric Clinic, hostage of this mystery person. They've been given canned food, water, even coffee. But not much else. They're not being tortured or harmed, but they are definitely still captives. And up until this spoiler I'm about to tell you about, both Phyllis and Sharon seem perfectly safe. Annoyed but safe. And I still wonder if it's Michael Baldwin, Christian Jules LeBlanc, who's holding them there, trying to force them to make peace once and for all. We'll see, but really it feels like Sharon and Phyllis are thrown together to see if they can work things out. So, I'm betting if they set aside their differences, Sharon would be set free. But things are going to come to an unexpected head before then. Next, let's get into what happens to Phyllis that could bring an abrupt end to this kidnap plot. So, Sharon is really worried when Phyllis starts gasping and bending over in pain. She's clutching her stomach. And she tells Sharon she's really nauseous. So, this could mean Phyllis is having some sort of medical emergency, some kind of gastric crisis, and Sharon has to beg their captor to get her medical attention, or this could be some sort of scenario that Phyllis cooked up. Young and the Restless. Kidnapper reveal? That's a standard plot in TV shows and movies where the person who's being held prisoner or hostage or locked up in jail, whatever, fakes like they're sick, the guard comes to check on them. And then they tackle them and get away. That could be a plan that Phyllis has cooked up. But it seems like Sharon doesn't know what's going on and legitimately thinks Phyllis is in some sort of horrible pain. Some sort of crisis. I mean, it's not a terrible plan, but if their captor does intend to harm her and Sharon, they may not care that she's having some sort of dangerous medical event, So we'll see how it works out, but I think that is going to prompt the reveal of our kidnapper. Unexpected marriage proposal shocks Genoa City. A Tracy Abbott romance? And last, let's talk about this unexpected marriage proposal. There are so many couples that could crop up with a proposal we weren't expecting. You know, I would hope Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, knows Chelsea Lawson Newman, Melissa Claire Egan, is not ready for that. Audra is definitely not in the place to have Nate Hastings, Sean Dominic, propose. Kyle is not at that point with Claire, and he just told Summer he's not in love with Claire yet. But it is heading that way. So, this proposal does involve an Abbott. I know that narrows it down because there's not too many single Abbotts in the family. Jack and Diane witness what happens, and they are very happy about it. And no, it's not Ashley Abbott, Eileen Davidson. I mean, heck, she doesn't even have a boyfriend right now. But do you know who does? Somebody we haven't seen in a while, Tracy Abbott, Beth Maitland. Young and the Restless. Ashley back for wedding? While Jack and Diane and Tracy and Alan Laurent, Christopher Cousins, all sit down at dinner, Tracy tells Alan that when she looks at him, she feels complete happiness, and he is thrilled to hear that from Tracy. And then Alan said that he would ask her to marry him on the spot if he thought she would say yes. Bracing for an explosive week ahead, one that promises heartbreak, shock, and romance no one saw coming. As the tangled web of secrets continues to unravel, 3 major storylines will take center stage. Phyllis's inner torment reaches a breaking point. Sharon faces a panic that could change her future forever, and an unexpected proposal leaves everyone in stunned silence. Phyllis in agony. Haunted by her own choices. Phyllis Summers has always been a woman of fire. Passionate, intelligent, and impulsive to a fault. But next week, that fiery spirit begins to flicker under the crushing weight of guilt. Her recent manipulations, particularly those tied to her underhanded business dealings and the emotional fallout with her children, begin to haunt her in ways she didn't anticipate. Viewers will see Phyllis unravel behind closed doors. She's trying to maintain her signature confidence, but the cracks are showing. A late-night scene in her suite at the Grand Phoenix shows her staring into the mirror, whispering, "What have I done?" The ghosts of her past, figuratively and perhaps even literally, loom over her as she relives the choices that led her here. When Daniel pays her an unannounced visit, the tension explodes. He confronts her about her inability to stop meddling, reminding her of how close she came to losing everything. Phyllis, usually quick to lash back, breaks down instead. For the first time in months, she lets her guard down and admits, "I don't even know who I am anymore." The emotional toll becomes too much when she receives unexpected news from Christine. It turns out that one of Phyllis's questionable business moves may have legal consequences, reopening a chapter she thought was buried. The threat of losing her freedom, and her family's respect, sends her spiraling. By midweek, a shocking cliffhanger reveals Phyllis collapsing in pain at her desk. The question isn't just whether she's suffering a medical emergency, but whether this is a physical manifestation of her overwhelming guilt. The usually indestructible Phyllis Summers is finally cracking, and this time, there may be no easy way back. Sharon panics. A crisis that shakes her to the core. Meanwhile, Sharon Newman's world takes a dark turn. She's been the steady one lately, balancing her life as a mother, businesswoman, and friend while keeping her past trauma at bay. But when something unexpected rocks her foundation, panic sets in. The week begins innocently enough. Sharon sharing coffee and laughter at Crimson Lights with Nick. They reminisce about the old days, hinting at their lingering connection. But the light moment doesn't last. Sharon receives a mysterious phone call that leaves her pale and trembling. Whatever she hears on the other end sends her into an emotional tailspin. The next scenes show Sharon in full panic mode, pacing her living room, clutching her chest as old memories resurface. Longtime fans will recognize the signs. She's struggling with anxiety, and possibly flashbacks from her battles with mental health. Mariah finds her mother in distress and calls for help, leading to a tense family intervention. Nick arrives just in time to witness Sharon break down in tears, confessing she's been keeping something from everyone. It seems she's received unsettling information about Cameron Kirsten's legacy, possibly tied to new evidence or a person from his past. The mystery could put Sharon and her loved ones in danger once again. By the end of the week, Sharon makes a life-changing decision. She tells Nick she needs to step away from Crimson Lights and her comfort zone to confront what's haunting her. Her final words in Friday's episode, "If I don't face this now, it'll destroy me." leave fans wondering what kind of storm is about to hit Genoa City. A surprise proposal. Love in the midst of chaos. While Genoa City reels from chaos, one couple takes a leap of faith that no one saw coming. The buzz around town suggests a romance that's been simmering quietly is about to reach a stunning turning point. Speculation runs wild. Will it be Adam and Sally, Chance and Summer, or perhaps Daniel and Heather? But insiders tease that it's none other than Billy Abbott who shocks everyone. After weeks of tension and emotional push-pull, Billy makes a daring move that could change his life. His growing connection with Chelsea reaches a new emotional depth next week. In heartfelt scenes, the two share an evening reminiscing about how far they've come, from broken individuals to survivors helping each other heal. Chelsea opens up about her fears of losing stability, while Billy admits he's tired of living in limbo. In a twist that stuns even her, Billy drops to one knee in the middle of the park, a simple ring in hand, and says softly, "You've saved me more than once, Chels. Maybe it's time I return the favor. Let me love you for the rest of our lives." Chelsea is left speechless. The moment is raw and emotional, but not without complications. Adam happens to witness part of the proposal from a distance, setting the stage for a jealousy-fueled storm. By week's end, Chelsea is torn. Her heart is full, but her mind is spinning. Can she trust that Billy's impulsive gesture comes from love and not from his need to feel redeemed?